Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
This is MLW referee Doug Markham, and you're listening to Everything Pro Wrestling with Conrad Cushman.
Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and I am bringing you a live watch-along as we speak. We have 55 seconds until NWA Powerrr starts. I love watching all of the Twitter grabs that Lagana gets for these. We see Edge giving a compliment to NWA Powerrr, telling everyone how much he loves it. Really, really smart for them to do that while they're utilizing the YouTube views. Right now, as we're watching live, it's almost at 5,000 people watching, 4,892 at this moment. And I'm going to make sure I leave a like on this because I love this NWA product. An hour of pro wrestling. You guys will get my thoughts as we sit here and we're watching all of this. I do have headphones on so that you guys don't catch any of the feedback or anything that's happening with this. So hopefully you guys are checking it out as well. And if it's your first time, let me know at EPW Show on Twitter. Let me know what you think of the product after watching it. It's kind of like a old school meets modern day wrestling. So we're starting off with highlights from last week, showing Homicide and Eddie Kingston getting screwed over, but then the Rock and Roll Express are back beating down the tag team champions. Mullet power in the chat. Love it. And here comes the intro now. The Into the Fire. That pay-per-view will be taking place December 14th. I think I'm going to do a review for it on YouTube. I'm really excited about this. The NWA brand has such a heritage behind the name. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Jim Cornette, but I think this is the perfect place for him to commentate and do his thing. We just saw Melina on here, Colt Cabana. They've got a lot of people who people still care to see in wrestling doing things. Trevor Murdoch's story is incredible. I love the weird little shot here at Nick Aldis beating down Cody and Marty Scurll. James Storm, the Cowboy, is here. Eli Drake. They've got names in NWA. So if you've been wondering who's here, Thunder Rosa. Shout out to JPQ who did an interview with Thunder Rosa. Camille, one of the most interesting things that I saw people talking about in the chat. We even have Mr. Ken Anderson. Tim Storm is someone who gets a lot of reactions with his hashtag Mama Storm. So the Wild Cards are the current tag team champions. They have a few kind of going with Kingston and Homicide, and that's Eddie Kingston. Like I said, lots of talent here who never got their push. Ooh, I love these NWA pins that Jim Cornette and Joe Galli are rocking. One of the hardest things I think with this show for watching from 6 episodes back has been just the volume sometimes. I wish that I could hear the announcers a little bit more, but that crowd in studio is loud in Georgia. All right. Dave Marquez has some guests coming up. Dave Marquez is the interviewer for NWA Powerrr. And the Rock and Roll Express are kicking things off here on the podcast. They are going to talk to Dave here, and they're getting rock and roll chants. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Man. And they just appeared on AEW too, so this is a big get for them. And they got Ricky Morton starting it off here. I can't believe these guys are still going, man, after all these years. The Rock and Roll Express, man. And the main thing with the NWA is I don't think you should watch this if you're expecting like 5-star matches, great wrestling. You're getting lots of promos with this. Lagana said that was a focus on it. Promos are what they want to do here. And here come Eddie Kingston and Homicide, Outlaw Inc., I guess they're called, slapping up the Rock and Roll Express. All right. Putting them over, calling them the greatest tag team right now. Eddie Kingston and Homicide got the stamp of approval from them, and now it launches right into a match. So now we have Trevor Murdoch versus Caleb. Caleb Connie, excuse me. Trevor Murdoch. Now, his storyline is that he's been working the NWA without a contract, and he's trying to earn a contract. Caleb Conley is here to try to stop him. I've seen Caleb Conley's work a little bit on Twitter. He's also a very impressive individual. But I'm interested to see Trevor Murdoch's story. That's what brings you in. And it's interesting to watch the chat too. A lot of people say, is that Trevor Murdoch? And some people are surprised that he's still going. And all right, we got a nice leapfrog there by Caleb Conley, but he ain't hip tossing Trevor Murdoch. Ooh. Flipped him over with a monkey flip and a nice drop kick. Best damn drop kick in the business. Big chop there. And Trevor Murdoch is a protege of Harley Race, 8-time world heavyweight champion who recently passed. Rest in peace to Harley Race. But, oh my goodness, what a spine buster by Trevor Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch is kind of like an outlaw who is a tough, mean SOB. He used to team with Lance Cade in WWE, if you guys remember those guys as a team. And now he's throwing some right hands. And, ooh, mean elbow. Like I said, there's nothing pretty about what you're going to see in this ring right now. This isn't going to be all flips and Canadian destroyers and everything else like that. They're not going out here to have the best match. I think they're more so trying to just tell a story. And the NWA has been pushing this like grit. This what you're seeing in the ring looks real. It's happening in front of you. And I think this is what Billy Corgan wants from his organization, who is the owner of the NWA, if you didn't know, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. And they really play to the crowd that's in here. They have a small kind of audience in front of them. And the announce team are making jokes about Trevor Murdoch's face. And nothing that hurts him. And what an amazing stomp. And the blend here, I don't want people to think that if you've never seen NWA that this is basically old school type wrestling. It's not. It still has newer stuff in it. And some of these guys are going out here to put on a show. But at the same token, it has this old school feel with all the flags around. And if you've ever seen the old NWA rings and sets, that's the feeling that they want to give you. Oh, big trip there. And Murdoch kicks out at 2 right there after a big double stomp from Caleb Conley. Oh, springboard moonsault off the second rope, but knees up by Trevor Murdoch. And he's got a full Nelson and just slams him down. I like that NWA is in the chat this week too. I've seen more of them. I don't remember seeing them any of the other 5 episodes in here really telling people to hit the like button and do everything else. Right now it's at 677 likes. 7,257 people are watching. Bulldog from the top rope by Trevor Murdoch. That's got to be it. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Trevor Murdoch still has it. He may not look like someone who you would say, hey, that's a pro wrestler. But Trevor Murdoch can go still. Good to see someone from wrestling's past get another chance at going at it here. And the fans are chanting for Murdoch. They are invested in the story of him getting that contract. Tonight, they are now teasing Camille Speaks. And tonight, it says Billy Corgan. But up next, we have Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell in action. And now they're hyping up the pay-per-view Into the Fire. It has emojis. It's sold out. It's going to be December 14th on fight.tv. The regular price is $25, but if you pre-order, you can get it for $19.99 on Fight TV. I'm sure that I'll hopefully have some codes to give away, so make sure you're following me on Twitter at EPW Show, because if I have some codes to give away, I will. And they're showing last week 2 out of 3 falls match with Ricky Starks, who is a new star, and Aaron Stevens, a.k.a. Damian Sandow, is back here. I'm wondering why this man last week wore nude-colored tights. Ridiculous. And they're showing him get defeated by Ricky Starks, who it seems like someone they want to put over as a new star. Aaron Stevens is coming back out right now, and it looks like he's wearing nothing underneath. And he believes that he is a great actor. Aaron Stevens has announced that he is done and finished and no longer part of the NWA, and people are cheering. And now you're getting the na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye chants. And I love this because the fans are being organic. Nobody's telling them what to say, when to applaud. And right now, Aaron Stevens, a.k.a. Damian Sandow, has to play off of this. Okay, now he keeps reiterating that he quits. And he's threatening to put his pants on, and fans are chanting yes. And Aaron Stevens is talking about going back to California because he has a new movie role in the Shogun of California. So he's a delusional actor, basically, similar to what The Miz was doing. And he walks away, and please stop having him come out in those tights. And now they have Allison Kay out here talking to Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa attacking. I don't know if this is going to lead to a triple threat match or Thunder Rosa challenging for the title here, but that is a match that I want to see. I think this match with Marty Bell will tell a story here tonight. And Marty Bell last week joined as Thunder Rosa gave her the opportunity to attack the NWA Women's Champion, Allison Kay. So now we have a tag match, Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell versus Crystal Rose and Brooklyn Creed. This looks like it's going to be a squash match here from the way it looks. Thunder Rosa was actually Cobra Moon, if you guys didn't know, in Lucha Underground. I think she played a hell of a character. She just had her first MMA fight as well. Dave Lagana went to the fight and documented everything for her. After reading it, it looked like she did go to the hospital afterwards, but that's part of the game, though, if you're going to do MMA. More than happy to support Thunder Rosa, though. An amazing pro wrestler. And it looks like these ladies are trying to make some quick tags to make sure Marty Bell does not get that tag. And here comes Thunder Rosa just getting tagged into the match. She is chopping. Thunder Rosa showing that fire. She is in great shape too for this. Not that she wasn't, but she has really stepped it up. Excellent clothesline in the corner there. Very, very good stuff here. I think Thunder Rosa has to be the next legitimate contender for the NWA Women's title. The belt has a throwback look to it, and at the same time, you see the throwback look. A picture of the champion is actually in there. Reminds me of some real vintage women's title belts that we've seen, and I like the look of it. And Thunder Rosa has double stomped the back, and Marty Bell just took out her partner. And like I said, that was a quick squash match establishing Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa as a dominant team. And I think the referee for that match was Brian Hebner. Someone tell me if I'm wrong here. It was the dope sneakers and the haircut that gave it away. Because he always rocked the basketball sneakers. So Brian Hebner. All right. And now they're in front of Dave here for an interview. And now he just asked, why did Marty Bell join Thunder Rosa? And she said she didn't know enough about Thunder Rosa, but she knows that Thunder Rosa is where her future is. And Thunder Rosa is speaking Spanish right now. A lot of people in the chat are digging this. All right. And it looks like Marty Bell is translating for her. And they said that a Phoenix is coming back. And they're telling Allison Kay that she has no idea what's coming to her. So this looks like it's a feud. The question is, who is next? And like I said, we get to these quick cuts and it's moving. So Colt Cabana is next. But they've been teasing this question mark type of person. And it makes you wonder who it is. A weird kind of vignette. They're not anything that looks very expensive, but you're curious by this. Lots of question marks popping up. And like I said, once you guys watch this, you'll really see what this show is about. Who is the mark? The question mark. Next. So it makes you wonder who's next. Now we're getting kind of a video package here with Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis will be at the big event in Queens, New York this Saturday on the 16th. 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. So make sure you guys get the tickets. 11:16. Now they showed last week Colt Cabana defeated James Storm to recapture his NWA National Championship. And they've been telling a story with this for the past couple weeks to make things pretty interesting here. And James Storm they're showing an interview from last week that's saying he was robbed. And James Storm says he demands a rematch. He's cutting a promo, and I think even there he just said frish, but he knew to pause, take his time, and get back into it. And James Storm has said he is focused on Nick Aldis. And he said, when I find you, your ass is mine. And Colt Boom Boom Cabana has been announced. And he has his And the NWA national title is pretty vintage as well. Basically a belt with the United States Championship, the United States in gold plated on the belt and a big red strap on it. And Colt Cabana is out here talking like Oprah, telling everyone they get a championship. And Colt Cabana is back on saying how he put up the title when he had a bad leg against James Storm, and James Storm took the belt, but now he has regained the belt. And he said the proof is in the pudding, and here it is, championship gold draped over my shoulder. David Marquez has someone who has shown up. And who do we have here? Ricky Starks is coming out with his gold chain on. He said, boom, boom, everybody knows that crocodile leather is my pleasure. So it looks like Ricky Starks may have his eye on that national championship here. Very, very interesting here. And here comes the question mark. So it's going to be Dan Parker versus the question mark. The D-Man, Dan Parker. I'll have to look him up. I don't know anything about him. And the question mark looks like he's got a mustache underneath there and a beard. And the fans are cheering for question mark. All right. This question mark looks very old school, like pro wrestling-esque. He's dropping chops across the back here. And the fans are behind question mark. And Dan is trying to get fired up here, but it looks like he's a smaller guy and it's not doing too much for him. This is kind of a sized up match here. Drop kick from the middle rope. And he's putting his arm up, calling for something. And he's throwing up the leg horns. And good Lord. He kind of hit him with like an Umaga Samoan spike, but he had his fingers with the horns up, basically. And he gets the win. So question mark is 1-0 here in the NWA. We're going to take a quick break, guys, and then when I come back, I'll let you know where I am as far as the show goes. Thank you guys so much, and we'll start back up with the next segment with Camille Speaks. All righty, folks, and we are back. We just got an ad for Retromania. Looks like a new video game that's coming out. And now we're getting some highlights here of Thunder Rosa preparing for her MMA fight. Just showing a little preview of what people could expect from this. Thunder Rosa trained very hard for this, and I love Dave Lagana's like video productions of things that he does. Always looks good. She's got the flag draped over her back, even when nobody is in the arena. Looks really good. Showing her taping up the hands and preparing for this. She looks very focused. And I know as pro wrestling fans, we love to see wrestlers do well in the world of MMA. I've never really been against anybody as far as what they're doing with that. Thunder Rosa. A pretty long video here, too. But it's got some nice music behind it. All right. And now her trainer said that it's time to prove herself, and it's called Thunder Rosa Into the Cage, coming soon. So we'll see what the full production of that is going to be. All right. NWA Powerrr. Joe Galley still talking about the question mark, and he wants to know what's going on with Camille. Joe Galley has been trying to get Camille to talk, and she has not spoken to anybody yet. The only person she deals with is Nick Aldis. All right. And Joe said he's going to keep asking questions until he gets questions from Camille. But here comes Eli Drake. And he's out here saying, "Let me talk to you." Eli Drake from Impact Wrestling. And he's addressing the talking situation. And Eli Drake says he doesn't give a damn. He says it's not about the why, it's about the what. And what does he mean by that? Okay. So he thinks that Nick Aldis is holding her back and not letting her talk because he doesn't want her to speak. And if she started unleashing words from out her mouth, and she might say that there is someone who is going to beat Nick Aldis, and it's obviously Eli Drake. And before he could let it out, someone just yelled Josephus. And fans are chanting for question mark now in the middle of this promo. Ooh, they chanted question mark, and he said, "While you guys worry about question marks, I'm going to worry about exclamation, and the name you need to worry about is Eli Drake." Nice way not to stumble from that. The wild cards, Tom Latimer and Royce Isaacs. One of them you will recognize as Bram, who was in the Ascension and also part of Impact Wrestling. And he was part of the Ascension in NXT before Victor got added to the team. Okay, NWA Tag Champs telling Eli Drake to mind his own business. And here comes Mr. Anderson from behind. He just screamed at Eli Drake. And he says, "Someone said you were looking for someone with a big mouth." And if you guys all know Mr. Kennedy, he is definitely someone who is Mr. And he said, "All you got to do is say my name." And he's just saying Anderson. Ken Anderson is intense, still good on that microphone, just like we remember him. And Eli Drake, eyes are wide right now. And he's looking out to the crowd. And up next, we have for the NWA World Tag Titles, Kingston and Homicide versus the Wild Cards. And it also says Nick Aldis is up next. And what happened to Camille Speaks? Unless that was just what the segment was called. Very different. It's presented kind of like in chapters of a book. And here's Billy Corgan to make an announcement. Billy Corgan thanks everybody for supporting NWA. He said his TV tapings are now sold out. And if you guys want to sign up for the email list at nationalwrestlingalliance.com, I'm a part of it. Make sure you are first to get into the studio in Georgia. Mm. And Billy Corgan made it sound like he's got a lot more planned and a lot more in store for NWA. Man, wrestling has so many different promotions right now, and the NWA is making sure their name is in the mix. And just on a who's watching count, we have about 9,000 watching, and we have a promotional consideration paid for by the following. Someone from Paducah, Kentucky is talking about wrestling and farming. Tony Falk's Wrestling Farm. Does anybody know if these are real businesses? We grow heels and baby faces to balance out the wrestling business. And for $50,000, you have your own heel or baby face. I don't know what these ads are. They are going in on this. And tell them Uncle Tony sent you. They gave out a fake phone number. I have no idea what that is. Maybe it's to pass the time. And they're showing Tim Storm, who on the first episode lost the right to challenge for the NWA title, similar to what happened with Cody Rhodes at AEW Full Gear. And Nick Aldis speaks to him about none of this happens without you or you and me. And Nick Aldis is getting right in his face and telling him, you know who you are. Don't let Eli Drake get in your head and tell you what to believe. So the studio energy here is making it feel like it's a big fight feel between all the wrestlers, and that everything is kind of, I don't want to say high schooly, but if someone says something, he's going to address it to make sure someone isn't getting ahead of him. And here comes Nick Aldis out here right now, getting a lot of cheers, the world's heavyweight champion, carrying the 10 pounds of gold. What a beautiful belt that is. Held by some of the legends in this business. And if you've heard so far, we've had Eli Drake challenge him, James Storm. There's a lot of people challenging him. And Nick Aldis is talking about people talking about what they deserve. And the chat is asking, where is Camille? And Nick Aldis said that this business owes you nothing. These people owe you nothing. Telling people to go out there and earn everything. And Nick Aldis is boasting himself up a little bit, talking about Harley Race presenting Dory Funk with the Luthez Award. And Nick Aldis talks about how he does things the right way. And Nick Aldis is placing himself as a big contender here, saying that he is the reason where the NWA is at where it's at. And somebody just wrote Mickey James draws in this chat. Terrible. All right. And Nick Aldis says he's going to sit ringside for this tag team title match because he wants to make sure there's no shenanigans, no BS. And he says that he's here to make sure everyone does things the right way. Now, I don't understand the babyface and heel dynamic of a lot of these folks, because Nick Aldis, I feel like I've seen him play both sides, as a babyface, as a heel. And he has a chair and he is sitting ringside. So on the hard side camera where you can see the crowd, you can also see Nick Aldis sitting there in a chair. Outlaw Inc., Homicide, and Eddie Kingston are coming out right now. Eddie Kingston rocking a 187 shirt, and Homicide wearing an NWA shirt. And this isn't National Wrestling Alliance. It looks like nice guys with attitudes. Trying to get a close-up to see if it says National Wrestling Alliance under it. Wouldn't surprise me. Here come the wild cards. And the wild, everybody basically walked right past and did not look at Nick Aldis at all. All right. And Cornette is telling people that they hope you stick with us as they take a break. And they're going to take a break as the title belts are raised into the air. And oh, dear Lord, a brawl has broken out. They did not take a break at all. Okay. Cornette said they're not going to break, so they fooled me. That was smart. They had the fight begin, and they said, we're not taking a break. Good belly to belly there by Homicide. And he goes for a pinfall. We get a kick out. Royce Isaac here with the tassels on him. And Bram is Tom Latimer, if you guys are wondering. Good elbow drop there. He's rocking a kilt now, which is different. We have not seen him with that style. I did not recognize him until they had the Crockett Cup tournament. Good DDT by Homicide there. I feel like Homicide and Eddie Kingston are guys who could challenge for the world title too, though, with their pedigree. Amazing in-ring talent since their Ring of Honor time. Good clothesline there. And we got a kick out by Latimer. And I like the different dynamic here of kind of a mixed tag team of Latimer and Isaacs versus kind of the guys who would represent the hip-hop culture more so. Eddie Kingston and Homicide. And they are trying to put the boots to Eddie Kingston here on the bottom rope. And they're telling Tom Latimer to grab the tag rope here. So there's a big enforcement of rules. If that's one of the things that's been bothering you, they really do enforce the rules. And Eddie Kingston just started biting somebody's head as a defensive move. And the fans are chanting for Eddie right now, trying to rally him back up to get his tag over to Homicide. I would love to see these two teams in like a street fight or something. That's where the money is, I feel. And Eddie Kingston talking back, but he is getting beat down right now. And Joe Galley just said Kingston's in the wrong side of town. He's getting choked, double teamed behind the referee's back right now as Homicide is jaw-jacking with the referee here. And Isaac's counting with the referee as he was holding on to the ropes because he knows he has until 5 to let go. Tom Latimer, man. And I think Eddie Kingston was just flipping him the bird. Tom Latimer, though, man, Bram, he was someone who I thought had a lot of potential when he was in NXT. Got himself into some trouble with the law, and I think eventually they said enough is enough. And I just had a Facebook message pop up and make me wonder what the heck that noise was. A lot of people talking here. We're still in that 9,000 mark with who's viewing it. I know this started 43 minutes ago, it says as well. And off the ropes, we have a reversal and a Uranagi kind of spinning. The tag is made. That's a different hot tag. And here comes Homicide, former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, TNA Tag Team Champion, NWA Tag Team Champion. And he is woozy right now. And Homicide takes down Tom Latimer. And here comes Isaacs trying to, overhead suplex there. New tag champs, kick out. He's going to have to look out for that vertebreaker that Homicide likes to hit. We get a double team move going here. Hip toss. into a clothesline by Eddie Kingston. He's the legal man once again, and Latimer comes in to make the save. And Nick Aldis is really paying attention. He's into it. I just heard Jim Cornette say tomfoolery. What is this? And we have a headlock locked in right now. And transitions into a DDT. Something like that back in the day would have resulted in a long headlock, but the action seems to be a lot faster these days. So this is what I'm talking about with the more modern wrestling. They are still doing those Canadian destroyers and flips at times when you see them, or they'll do DDTs instead of headlocks. I know some people hear NWA and they may think, oh, we're going to see lots of headlocks, eye scratches, people losing off of stupid stuff, which you get a little bit. But for the most part, though, it's modern wrestling with old school ideas behind them where you let people talk you into the matches. And Homicide just went for a suplex, but he tweaked his right knee, and Tom Latimer is right on top of it. He's kind of like the Drew McIntyre of the NWA. Eddie Kingston is down. Homicide just got in the ring and started clotheslining people. And all four men are down from clotheslines. Eddie Kingston's holding the right knee. The fans are starting to clap and rally a little bit here. Someone just wrote 2K20 sucks in the chat. I'm trying to figure out what the fans are chanting here. I can't say. It sounded like make them pay. Or maybe it was NWA. I don't know. Homicide set up on the middle rope by Isaacs here. He just got pushed off. Gives him a boot. And Homicide calling for a tornado DDT. But Tom Latimer holds his arm, and they pushed Homicide over. And on the floor, there are no ring mats, guys. This is like a studio-based arena. So when you fall on the floor, it's studio floor. Looks like they're calling for maybe a finisher. Pop-up power bomb. Lifted him up. And a full Nelson into a German suplex. 1, 2, 3. Isaacs picks up the win for his team. Good to see it there. And here comes Camille. And she is pointing to Nick Aldis, arguing here with him. And they're having words. And here comes James Storm out to talk to Nick Aldis. And they're playing Into the Fire. And here comes Eli Drake, Ken Anderson. The Dawsons are out here. They're a tag team as well. Colt Cabana's coming out pushing everybody. What is going on? And the referees are out here. There's chaos happening. Someone in a suit. Nick Aldis and James Storm and Eli Drake are having an argument, and Nick Aldis just walked away. And we see who the executive producers and who directs the show. NWA Powerrr, Into the Fire. Shout out to Maureen Tracy. Follow her on Twitter as well. That is the end of the episode, guys. Not really that long. 48-minute episode of the show. Nice, fun, easy to watch. Not too many commercial breaks. You get some silly stuff in there. But other than that, guys, I think it's pretty dope, man. Can't be mad at it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Everything Pro Wrestling. We are going to let you guys hear some music. We are out. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube live, don't forget, AEW Dark comes on right after this on YouTube for free. So there's lots of free wrestling. So make sure you guys share it. Take care of each other this week, folks. Peace.